Hi, my name is Angelica, and this is the Angelica Unfiltered channel where I talk about health, wellness, weight loss, and mostly fat acceptance. I finally finished my office, and we are in my office right now. I don't know how else to introduce that. I mean, I guess this technically isn't my first video in my new office because when Honey Bison and I did that collab, I did film in here, but now I guess this is my first new video in my office doing a solo video. Maybe I will do a little tour of the bookcase back here, but here's a sneak peek for those that are watching and not just listening. I'm trying to get a lot of little like Easter eggs and inside jokes going on at the bookcase, so you can always leave some suggestions for dumb shit down below in the comment section, and maybe I will find said item on Etsy to purchase. But in today's video, I wanted to react to this person. They go by 𝒹𝒾𝓈𝓸𝓃. I am copying Graphically Alex and reacting to this video, which nothing new there, I guess, because I feel like I copy all the videos that he reacts to. But I think he's on TikTok like a smidge more than I am, so he's a little more in the zeitgeist than myself. I'm going out of my way to react to this specific person because she's in a smaller body. She is thin. Someone had the audacity to comment on one of my YouTube videos and say something along the lines of,
I doubt you would say any of this to someone that was in normal or healthy weight. All you do is talk shit about fat people.
and I said, I would make these comments to any dipshit that preaches and advocates for fat acceptance and health at every size. So here we are. You guys made me do this. Or that one commenter, you made me do this, okay? I hope you are happy. You know, mostly only fat white women make videos about fat acceptance, so it's really hard to scour the internet and find people that don't fit into those demographics. There is few and far between thin people that advocate for fat acceptance, so you're unfortunately going to get fat lady reaction videos from a fellow fat lady because this movement is about usually fat ladies. Before we get into it, jewelry of the day, I am wearing my grounding smoky quartz toggle necklace and the matching huggy hoops. I am wearing everything in gold, but I also have silver available. I will make sure to link this bundle down below. If you buy it in the bundle, it is a little bit cheaper than buying the pieces individually. And then on top of that, if you want to pick them up, you can use code YouTube10 to save 10% off your first order from my small business, Rebirth Jewelry. Back to the video, but let's get into this. 𝒹𝒾𝓈𝓸𝓃 posted this October 16th, so it might be a little stale. It's been almost a month, if not a little bit longer than a month, the time I get to editing and posting this video. So those that are not familiar with 𝒹𝒾𝓈𝓸𝓃, she, I don't know if I would say went viral or she started to become known within the anti-fat acceptance community here on YouTube, because I don't know if it was this year or maybe late last year. They posted a video talking about, I don't know, something about fat women that have lost weight, or, you know, people being fat phobic. Oh, no. I know what it is. It was about saying that it was rebellious to be fat. Well, let me see if I can find the video. Okay, I can't find her original video. I looked at her spam account in her original, so I'm not sure if she deleted it. But Michelle McDaniel featured like a clip of it in one of her videos from 6 months ago. So I just want to play it for the people that aren't familiar with Chloe or 𝒹𝒾𝓈𝓸𝓃.
I genuinely believe that in this glorious year of 2025, it is borderline radical and at the very least an embodied political statement to be fat, chubby, plus-sized, curvaceous, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, so that's her horseshit take. While being a thin woman, while having Playboy as decor in her kitchen. Hashtag F your beauty standards, but I'm going to idolize old magazines of very sexy, beautiful women. And I'm pretty sure that Chloe has lost a significant amount of weight.
This is a video from 2022 when she just made a TikTok. I guess maybe she looks a little chubby, but not like she was obese like how people in the fat acceptance movement are.
This video just speaks volumes, as you could imagine.
When people lose a lot of weight, they often attempt to cope with the discipline that it takes to lose a lot of weight by developing a big ego.
Is it a big ego, or is it someone just having confidence and that makes you insecure?
This inflated ego isn't just coming from the confidence that weight loss inspires, but it's also, again, coming from a place of people needing to cope with the symptoms
Saying every single word possible, but making no fucking sense.
that come with being disciplined. Discipline is a very good thing most of the time.
Most of the time. I would beg to differ. Like, probably 100% of the time, discipline is a word that has a very positive attribution to it.
As someone who has struggled with addiction, I know that discipline is a good thing, but it can also give you a superiority complex.
I think most people that have lost a significant amount of weight have a lot of empathy for their past self, or like themselves in the past when, like, at their heaviest, you know what I mean? I don't think that anyone ever acts like they're better than their past self. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm sure that there's someone out there that acts like a complete fucking narcissist now that they've lost a bunch of weight. But I think a lot of people that have lost a significant amount of weight have extreme empathy for themselves, but also people that are actively in a weight loss journey, or people that are fat and are not doing anything about it because either they're ignorant to the fact that they are extremely unhealthy, or they just don't care and they're not going to do anything about it.
It can also make you assume that problems you have faced in the past will never be faced again. You've conquered them all because you're so amazing.
I mean, not that I'm an old, wise woman, but Chloe is 23 years old. So when I was 23 years old, I was in fat acceptance. So Chloe might have a big change of heart in a couple years. I don't even remember what the fuck she said.
Problems you have faced in the past will never be faced again. You've conquered them all because you're so amazing.
How do I feel about that? I mean, I think that there are some people that might never gain weight again. I think it's probably impossible to say that no one will ever gain their weight back. I mean, I expect at some point in my life that I will gain weight back, but that's only because, I mean, I'm actively still on a weight loss journey and I want to continue losing weight, but my husband and I would like to have kids. So maybe in 5, 6, 7 years, when I'm hypothetically pregnant, I know that I will gain weight during my pregnancy. You know, I'm not going to let myself gain 150 pounds and get back to my highest weight, or even higher than my highest weight, but weight gain happens. And the great thing about losing and gaining weight is that you can always do it again, whether you are struggling from the underweight category or the overweight category. It's something that you can always change, and we are not completely helpless in regards of our weight. We do have control over it, or we have control over the actions that contribute to weight gain or weight loss or weight maintenance. But most of the time, I mean, I guess I can't speak for everyone. Like, I got to 272.8 pounds because I was just constantly eating and I was severely depressed because of the pandemic. But if you are someone that, you know, had BED and you are fully recovered, like Alex, graphically Alex, he mentioned it in his video, like he is healed and in recovery from his BED. So getting back to his highest weight, which is almost like an extra 200 pounds, to gain all of that weight back would take so much fucking work and effort. And that's something that would take years and years and years. But if you were recovered from your ED, like how Alex is, then you wouldn't even, I'll continue to use him as an example, but like he will never get back to his highest weight. I mean, like, shit happens, life happens. Maybe Alex does gain 20 pounds for some imaginary reason, but he can lose it again. Most people don't get to their highest weight again, or even gain even more weight above their highest weight, unless there is something going on that they haven't completely healed or worked through. I'm not just going to magically be 272.8 pounds again. A lot of things have to happen, like consuming an enormous amount of food for me to get to that weight.
I think former fat people need to be very careful.
And I'm pretty sure Chloe is a former fat person or someone that has lost weight. I'm not sure how much weight Chloe has lost. When she is talking about formerly fat people, I'm not sure if she's including herself in these statements or not. I assume not, because she's the perfect thin person who has lost weight the correct way that is not fat phobic and thinks and acts the same exact way now as she did when she was heavier. Right.
About the way that they talk about themselves, because that fatness that you fear, that version of yourself that you enjoy demonizing.
Enjoy demonizing? What if it's just pointing out the obvious facts of the unhealthy coping mechanisms and behaviors that we were engaging in? It's not demonizing. Demonizing is like when there's nothing wrong and you're like trying to make something worse and crazier than it was. Most people don't demonize their heavier self. But let's go on.
Get a laugh out of others or even yourself. You haven't actually made that much distance between you and that previous version of yourself.
I would argue that if you have lost a substantial amount of weight, I'm talking like pounds, even fucking 50 pounds, if you're super short, 50 pounds can be a lot, but it's like, I would beg to differ. Like, you have to become a completely new fucking person to lose a bunch of weight and keep it off. Like, you have to change so much about your fucking life. There is no way that you could be the same exact person from your heaviest weight to your lowest weight. Of course, you can like the same movies and TV shows and colors and clothing and bands. But in speaking of, lifestyle habits, you are fucking different. You are. When I was at my fattest, I never thought about calories. I never thought about exercising or making sure that I'm drinking enough water or getting enough sleep. Those are things I try to prioritize now. When I was 272.8 pounds, I was in fat acceptance, and now I'm not. I think that says a lot.
To assume that you'll never be fat again is foolish. To assume that you'll never face another weight-related issue is foolish and, again, a result of that ego.
I don't think most people are here online screaming from the fucking rooftops saying, I'm never gonna be fat again. Shit happens. Life happens. What if you're mourning and you gain 20 pounds? What if you break your fucking leg and you can't work out and you cope by overeating for 4 months? No one is saying never. I'm sure some people have like, oh, I'll never be that person again. But no one is never saying, oh, I will never gain weight back. Some people might declare that they'll never get to their heaviest weight again. But also at the same time, I feel like if you are constantly telling yourself that, your weight loss is temporary and you're always going to gain the weight back, then either you are not completely healed from something and you are just a part of that like BED cycle, or you just have like a fucking loser mentality and you still haven't gained the confidence that most people do get when they lose weight. Most people should not be weight cycling. It is not healthy to weight cycle.
The way I used to talk about fat Chloe, man, you would have sworn that she worked at Lockheed Martin and she had an internship with TMZ, and on the weekends I was protesting outside of Planned Parenthood.
So she's saying that she uplifts her fat self? Or she was cooler when she was fat than she is now that she's lost weight? I don't understand what she's trying to get at.
I was making myself out to be this fictional fat character that never existed. I was describing myself as this gluttonous, terrible freakazoid because I thought that if I spoke poorly on myself, if I demonized the previous version of myself, that I would make distance between me and her, and then I would never become her again.
I think if you hate your former fat self that fucking much, then you probably have some psychological issues. Don't get me wrong, like, I have compassion for myself from when I was at my heaviest, and there are still a lot of things that are the same since I've lost weight, But I don't think it's a bad thing to point out our old past behaviors. Like Honey Bison in her videos, like she always talks about like the fucked up food combinations like she used to eat. Like she used to eat like a bag of family size hot Cheetos and 2 tubs of cream cheese. Or she would make Velveeta mac and cheese and like fucking mix hot Cheetos with it. Like I don't think it's like a unhealthy or toxic bad thing for Honey Bison or Melina to be like, yeah, the food I used to eat was fucking grotesque. That was not good food. No, it was not. I don't think that is demonization. Like this, just pointing out the fucking obvious. It's pointing out something disgusting she used to do. And I guess depending if you like the word gluttonous or not, it was a very gluttonous thing that she was partaking in. But I guess from my standpoint, I'm not in Melina's head. But I mean, she has talked about her problems with BUD, but it's like when Melina talks about her former fat self before she lost weight, she sees it in the eyes of someone struggling and not hating that past version of herself. That past version of herself or myself or, you know, yourself got you to where you are now. There's almost like a part of you that has to love your fat former self because, you know, talking from my experience, like, you know, she got me to where I am now. She put that fucking hard work in so I could lose over 85 pounds.
My past self made these dumb videos, and now I can use my lived experience to make anti-fat acceptance content in hopes to help people escape the movement. We needed to be our past self so we could become our future self.
And I think that the only way that you are going to keep weight off is if you love yourself and if you are disciplined. Nothing good comes from, you know, self-hatred. Hating how you look and starving yourself puts you in a BED cycle. Hating yourself makes you ignore things that you need in taking care of yourself properly. You cannot hate yourself and sustainably lose weight, in my humble opinion.
And then I still did. And the person I'm describing, the habits I'm criticizing, I'm describing a version of myself that I have experienced many times in my life, and I'm criticizing behaviors that I myself have taken part in many times in my life.
So is it okay for you to criticize yourself, but it's not okay for other people to criticize their past self? You think that's demonization, but what you're doing is not demonization? Right, yeah. Because you do everything the correct way, and everyone else does it incorrectly from your perspective.
Right? So this is not coming from a place of like, I'm on my high horse and I'm better than you because...
Well, that's what it's coming off like, sis.
I've lost weight and I'm normal about it. I was never normal about it. That's the issue. I was never normal about it.
And you're still not. Because why are you posting shit like this on the internet pretending that you are holier than thou? Talking about how people demonize their fat self and also in your other videos uplifting fat people and saying that being fat is a rebellion.
If I sometimes come across videos where people are like, things I used to do when I was fat. And I can spot someone who's on like round 1 of weight loss like a hawk.
This might come to a shock. This might be surprising to you, but it's not normal or healthy to continuously fucking weight cycle. It is not a good thing to have gone from underweight, normal weight, overweight, underweight, obese, underweight 6 times the time that you're fucking 30 years old. That is not good. That is not normal. That is unhealthy. If you just go on your first diet or you make your first lifestyle change and lose a bunch of fucking weight and keep it off, that's amazing. You are like probably less than 1% of the population that succeeds the first time. That is someone that should be fucking congratulated for realizing, hey, damn, I need to get this shit under control. Just because you, Chloe, have continued to weight cycle or partake in ED behaviors does not mean that other people's weight losses that have succeeded in one attempt are invalid.
Like, there's a certain ego that comes when someone has just lost weight, and this is the first time they've lost weight. And
Is it ego or is it confidence? I have to ask you that question again.
so these videos, they'll be like, I was such a big fat fatty, I was a fat fuck.
Oh, God forbid someone make fun of themselves. Right, it's only okay if you do it.
I was such a fatty McFat. I used to do this, I used to do that. I'm like, bro, give yourself 3 bad months, friend. 3 bad months.
I don't think I could gain back over 85 pounds in 3 bad months. Even to this day, I really can't get myself to gorge or like eat as much as I used to before I started losing weight. You know, when Pablo and I used to order Domino's or Pizza Hut, we would both get our own pizza and breadsticks, and then he would get wings, and I would, and sometimes even a fucking like a brookie, okay? And I would demolish a fucking medium pizza by myself. No crumbs, no leftovers.
No crumbs left, sis.
Now, even if I skip lunch and I'm starving to death the time that we have dinner, I can't even finish a fucking half a pizza. Because physically, I'm so full that it's making me sick. But mentally, I'm like, I know I don't need this. I know when I emotionally eat now. I know when I'm eating out of hunger and when I'm eating because of certain emotions. Like last night, I was getting my ass beat playing Fortnite. And I have these little Aldi 100 calorie packs of cookies. And man, I was scarfing those down when I was getting my ass beat. But I knew psychologically that I was eating out of emotion. And if I were to gain 85 pounds back, I would have to be eating out of emotion. And I've matured to the point where I know when I'm not doing something good. But I let myself rage on Fortnite and eat a 100 calorie pack of Chips Ahoy because I'm on my period. And it was within my calorie allowance of the day. I mean, even when we were moving and I wasn't counting calories and we were eating fast food and I was just doing whatever, I gained like a fucking pound. And that was me not caring. That was me having a bad couple weeks. When you've lost a certain amount of weight, I feel like you have to actively try to fucking put on the weight again because your lifestyle habits are so completely different.
Behaviors will be back. Matter of fact, give yourself 6 bad months, you might be right where you started.
6 bad months, 85 pounds. That would be like, 12, 13 pounds a month? That's a fucking lot of weight to gain. See, the thing is, and most of us have been fat our entire life or just through adulthood, and the pounds pack on slowly for most of us. I know there's some BED people that just gain a substantial amount of weight in like in a year or so, but most of us are obese because we were ignorant to nutrition or food for years and years and years. I didn't get to 272.8 pounds overnight. I think most of high school, I was like 175-ish. I graduated high school like 180. I gained a bunch of weight. I was in like the 200s. Then towards the end of college, I was like 195. And then COVID happened. I was like 220, 230 already. And then I kept eating and eating and eating and not doing anything. Not moving, not exercising, isolating myself, being so depressed that within 2 years, I probably gained almost 50 pounds. But that's slowly over time. Pound after pound after pound a week. A pound a week, which they add up real quick, in case you didn't know.
Now, I think that people have every right to make fun of themselves, every right to speak on experiences that they've had,
Classic, got to do a little backpedaling.
habits that they've had. I just think that when you make it a public conversation, when you allow yourself to be the butt of a joke.
I don't really think it's a butt of a joke. I watch a lot of those videos that are like, what I used to eat in a day as a fat person. And it's like, obviously, I think people post those things to laugh at themselves in the past. But I think people also post them as education to other people because, every fat person doesn't eat that much. Every fat person eats healthy. They don't know why they're so fucking rotund. But when people post these videos, what I used to eat in a day when I was fucking 250 at 5 foot flat, obviously that gives the OG poster some time to reflect on their past actions, but then it educates people that follow them or just happen to see it in the algorithm. Most people, including myself, didn't really get an education on nutrition. So when you just happen to see one of these videos pop up on your feed, you're like, damn, a McChicken meal is how many calories? Damn, a fucking footlong brownie from Subway is that many calories? Damn, the Dunkin' Latte is that many calories? That video starts to become a form of education to some people. It's not just, tee-hee, I was a fat lard. It's educating people.
For everybody, whether it be in the workplace or on the internet or at the family function. And then you show up 2 years later and you're fat again.
Then you fucking lose the weight again. When I see someone that has lost weight and gained weight again, I'm just like, okay, good luck with that journey. That's none of my business. And I think that most people that post on social media about weight loss and health, they're not going to gain back their weight in 2 years. And if they do, whatever social media pages they have created are probably dead now or inactive.
This also applies to like a bunch of other things. Like I try to be really careful about the way that I talk about my addiction with any of my loved ones, because I'm not trying to say I don't have a lot of strength and a lot of discipline. I have so much strength. I have so much discipline. I'm really proud of myself. I also know that I am an addict and there's a certain way that I function, and I know that
a lot of the times in recovery spaces, when it comes to like alcoholics or people that use other substances, I guess I'll talk about AA, but I know like a lot of the same things are similar in NA. I'm not a recovery alcoholic. My dad is an alcoholic. I used to work in the substance abuse field, so I know a little bit about AA and recovery and stuff like that. But like when you are an addict,
And in AA.
most people claim to be an addict because it gives them some sort of like ownership and liberation to claim that title. And addiction is technically a disease and can come back at any point in time, like any other disease. A lot of people claim like, I am an addict. And right now I'm a recovered addict, but there may be a point in time where I become a active addict again. They start to partake again in their substances. And every once in a while, I do think it's appropriate to compare addiction to substances, to like food and obesity. But I know how she's going to say that like she is a recovered addict, but she can use at any time, every point again, like at any point, and she could relapse. Like, I know that's how she's going to compare the situation, but I feel like when it comes to weight gain or maybe an ED, and the thing is, like, I haven't ever had, like, a diagnosed ED. Obviously, I've had unhealthy relationships with food and eating and stuff because I was almost 300 fucking pounds. But gaining a significant amount of weight back just takes so much time and effort and energy. And I know partaking in substance use obviously takes time and money and energy, but you can sustain from substances for the rest of your life. With food, that is something that we need as human beings. And you have to heal whatever sort of like unhealthy relationship you have with eating and food and exercise so you can create sustainable weight loss. And plus too, like, I don't know, like a drug relapse can like happen like that. But with eating, to get to your fattest self, for me to go from 188 to 272.8 pounds, that would take a lot of fucking food. That would take a lot of fucking time. I don't know. This like thought, this rant isn't very thought out. I've just been speaking as words come to my mind. And I do understand that people use eating as a coping mechanism. Obviously I do. When I rage on Fortnite and eat my Aldi Cookie Crisp 100 calorie packs. But I just feel like it's different in a sense, and I just don't know how to put it into words correctly or in a way that will help you understand why I think the way that I do. I don't know. Leave your thoughts down below.
God might throw me demons or obstacles years down the line that I will have no idea how to stomach. And I hope that I give myself grace in however I choose to stomach those obstacles.
But using substances is self-medicating and a coping mechanism. But I just hope that Chloe and any other person in recovery would have other healthy coping mechanisms so they wouldn't reach for their substance of choice. And the same thing goes for emotional eaters. I mean, I guess it's not too harmful to fucking pig out one day. Unless, of course, it's going to start a cycle for you. But I just feel like having BED or Anna or Mia is just a completely different mindset. But also I understand like why it's similar. I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. You know, like not everyone relapses. Not everyone has a BED cycle their entire life. You can get recovered. Recovery is possible.
Do you get what I'm saying? Like, sometimes I'm like, bro, like you're talking about your fat self like she killed someone. She was just fat.
But couldn't you say that to the addict version of yourself? Couldn't you say like, oh, I was suffering. Oh, I was going through something. But you can't give people that same emotion to when people talk about their former fat self?
I don't know. You were just fat.
And you were just an addict. Okay, let's just completely dismiss each other. Like, maybe people have very fucking passionate feelings about their former fat self because being super morbidly obese sucks. When I was searching for the OG video, like I saw videos of Chloe when she was bigger or heavier, but she was like fucking chubby. She looks like a normal American. I feel like if Chloe was on 600-pound life, then her feelings around her former fat self would be completely fucking different.
Oh my god, you really liked food.
It's not just liking food. There are so many underlying issues than just liking food. When I was at my heaviest, I was so fucking depressed. I literally did not even want to be here on earth. When people are binging, there are underlying psychological issues. When people are restricting and refuse to eat, there are other psychological issues. There's a difference between liking food and obsessing over food and never indulging in food, never allowing yourself to be nourished. It's not just, oh, I really like peanut butter M&Ms. Yeah, that's why I just have some in my pantry in case I get a little craving for them. That is different than going to every fucking drive-thru on your way home because you had a bad day at work. They're completely two different fucking things. And I feel like she's dismissing the actual struggles that super big people go through.
Oh no! It's kind of like saying, but that would never happen to me. And Queen, it could. And it might. And that'll be okay.
Why do you care? I have never seen a thin person or a healthy weight person or someone that has lost a significant amount of weight like make this type of content that she's speaking about. Like, it's just, I feel like people, including her, in the fat acceptance community just fucking make up things. Like, no one ever said this.
Like, there were things, I have literally spoken struggles into existence. I have manifested struggles for myself by saying, but that
Self-fulfilling prophecies.
would never happen to me.
And that will never happen to fucking me. I will never let myself be a fucking raging alcoholic. I will never let myself be a bad mother. I am not one now, but I will not let myself be one in the future when I have a child. I will never set my house on fire. Like, there are just things that we can promise ourselves that we won't do. And I'm sorry that you did things that you never wanted to. That happens to a lot of us. A lot of us do things that we never intended to do.
About my life like it would never happen to me.
And you're 23 now. Would you say those things when you're fucking 18? Yeah, we all think we know how the world works when we're 18 years old.
As if I'm so special that it would never happen to me. Funny.
I would never get into a motorcycle accident because I would never fucking ride a motorcycle. Whoa. Groundbreaking.
Just food for thought.
Okay, crazy eyes. That's gonna have to be used in the thumbnail. I don't know. Now that I'm thinking about it again, I can accept that I might potentially gain some weight in the future, but I would never let myself get to 272.8 pounds again. Because when I was that weight, I was the most depressed I was in my entire life. And I feel like if I were to start to struggle with my mental health issues again, then I would know when it was time to, go see my psychiatrist and get the fucking pills increased or try a different medication or get back into therapy. I think if you are self-aware enough that you can reflect back on why you were the way that you were, you can see the warning signs when they start to come to you. And also, when I was my heaviest and constantly gorging myself, I was, not that I have like the best education on nutrition, I mean, probably more than the general public, but like, I am now aware of calories, unfortunately. So I could not let myself continuously overeat for a long period of time without having the cognitive dissonance of knowing that what I'm doing is not good. If I started to overflow in all of my clothes because I gained so much weight, I would have to take a step back and do some shadow work, do some reflecting, and figure out why the fuck I gained so much weight again. I really hate the message that she's sending, saying that, it could happen to you again. Like, it's just completely out of our fucking control. Viewer, did you know that you got fat as fuck because of your actions? And same thing goes for me. I got fat as fuck because I was constantly eating. Not all of us can do photosynthesis like 𝒔𝒊 and never eat a fucking, what are those called? Not the Whopper, Big Mac. Not some of us can be like 𝒔𝒊 and do photosynthesis and never have a fucking Big Mac or Starbucks drink a day in our lives. 𝒔𝒊 is the only medical mystery out there. She is fat. She has atypical animals. She does not eat. But for the rest of us, we got ourselves to our heaviest. We chose to put the food in our mouth, chew and swallow. And just to act like we will magically be fat again for no fucking reason just makes people feel so helpless and hopeless about their situation. And if we're going to be speaking from an addiction point of view too, which I know, depending on who you are and your beliefs and stuff, some people feel like they did have food addiction. Some people feel like they just had binge. And some people say that you can't have an addiction to food, but same thing goes for addiction. You have to choose to pick up that drink. You have to choose to call your dealer, meet him up in a sketchy area, go to the ATM to get cash out, pick up your substances. Depending how you use those substances, you have to probably pick up the tools to use those substances. So it's just not something that fucking poofs out of the middle of nowhere. You don't get to, rub your genie's bottle and ask for one of your magic 3 wishes. It's not something that's sprung upon you. You don't just get hexed and gain 200 pounds overnight. It's something that you have to actively contribute to. And I understand that during hard times or maybe even traumatic times, we feel out of control or like in some sort of dissociative state. But at the end of the day, you just have to fucking take accountability for your actions. And yes, obviously anyone can gain weight back after their weight loss, but a lot of people can maintain that weight loss. Or if people do gain that weight back, they can lose it again. It's not a dead end. We aren't completely helpless. We aren't completely hopeless. And that's one thing that really makes me really upset about the fat acceptance community is how hopeless and helpless they made me feel when I was in it. And I know that a lot of people feel the same way too, because I'm not sure if Chloe has spread this rhetoric, but in the fat acceptance community, people say, 95% of diets fail. Most people that start a diet gain all the weight back plus more. Your genetics determine your body shape and size before you're even born. It's genetic to be fat. So when you hear things like that, you think, my weight is so out of my fucking control. I can't do anything about my weight. I'm fat as fuck and I have to be like this for the rest of my entire life. Because magically, somehow I'm fat because of genetics. Yeah, you can have certain disorders and diseases that maybe has contributed to a little bit of your weight gain, but it's not all of it. Sorry, sis. Unless you have a 100-pound cyst on your ovary, then I guess then maybe it's not your fault, but I highly doubt any of you fat motherfuckers out there have a cyst that big, okay? Go open your bank app and scroll and see where all your purchases are coming from. I bet it's a lot more drive-thrus than you would like to admit. Or stopping at the gas station too many times for some sweet little treats because you just had a hankering you could not get rid of. The average adult makes over 30,000 decisions a day. You can continue to live your life the way that you are, which is fine. I don't have to fucking live your life, so I don't care what you do. But if you are so unhappy in this position where you are at, then you will make changes to get to the place or the state that you want to be. You can lose weight. You can develop healthier habits. You can work on your discipline. You can exercise more. You can drink more water. You can improve your quality of sleep. It's just a matter of taking action. You can take action and continue to make decisions that worsen your quality of life, or you can start making better decisions and start completing actions that will better your life. It is just your choice. And what are you going to do? Tell me, what the fuck are you going to do? All right, let's read some of these stupid ass comments. Leo Skeppy. I've watched a couple of his videos on YouTube after like all the Shabbat went down, and I support everything that he said in his video. Damn, you cleared. Not really. You're talking about how people demonize their past self. Well, you look fucking demonic right here. We're gonna need an exorcism. Not at all, actually. This is coming from her personal experience and standpoint. Not everyone who loses a ton of weight has an inflated ego or didn't feel normal about it. We aren't scared about a version of ourselves because we truly acknowledge it is true. I used to be delusional until I realized that my weight reflects my habits. I'm not a bad person for that. I just don't lie to myself. Okay, period. 1 day ago. Just food for thought is wild. No pun intended, of course. Gang, if I somehow get skinny, I will have an ego. I'm glad that there is some kind of like pushback in her comments because I was scared everyone's going to be like, yeah, girl, go off. I get it, and you should be proud of yourself, but she's right. I lost 190 pounds when I was 20, and 3 to 4 years later, I gained it all back plus 80 more. 80 more? So this person gained 260 pounds within 3 to 4 years. That's not good, but that's some BED. And that's the thing about like the BED cycle. Depending on who you are, some of those parts of the cycle, those can last a day. This could last a week, a year, a couple years. But if you are not completely healed from the overeat, feel guilty, restrict, become obsessed with food, overeat cycle, you're not going to get out of it. You're going to continue to cycle until somehow you break that cycle. And it sounds like this person did not break that fucking cycle. I went from 340 to 175 back to 142, and now I'm 125. That is disordered as fuck. Draj, you have an issue. I hope it's healed. And now I'm 215. Just know that shit does happen along the way in life. Sometimes you let yourself go for a while, and before you know it, you're in a worse position than you were in the past. That's not letting yourself go, dude. I think letting yourself go is maybe 50 pounds. Letting yourself go, you don't give a fuck for like a year and a half. Maybe something bad happened. You broke your leg and you're bed bound, and, you just find yourself using your wheelchair, wheeling over to the pantry a little too often. Maybe 50 pounds. That much weight, that's more than just letting yourself go. That's a mental illness, in my opinion. Take it from me. I'm 35 now, and I was a prideful, ego-driven kid after losing 140 pounds initially. But you have no idea what life has in store for you later. I don't even want to say anything out loud, but even if the worst fucking things happen to me, let's just be fictional here. If every single person I love, even my dogs, were abducted by aliens, I still don't think I would be able to get myself to fucking 412 pounds. That's so much food. That's so much time. That's mental illness. You just don't get to 412 pounds. Because, life was hard. I ate a tub of Ben & Jerry's every night after dinner to cope with my feelings. I feel like 412, that's humongous. That takes some time. Every pound I lose will be shoved into my ego. I am superior. I am better. Not than anyone else but my past self. Period. Here we are, spitting fat acceptance, learning that over 90% of people who diet to gain the weight back in 5 years radicalized me for real. Like, our bodies are built to hold on to weight, and there are so many systematic factors that make discipline extremely difficult. Bruh. More than Tracy Turnbland. Oh my god. It's her. If you guys are in the anti-fat acceptance community, you've probably seen her. I don't think I've reacted to any of her videos on my channel, but she is someone that definitely has had some controversial videos in the past, I will say. And Sam at Every Size debunked this 95% of diets fail. So if you want to watch that, I'll have it linked down below if you want to check it out. Bodies are built to hold on to weight. Yeah, women are supposed to have some extra body fat for our hormones. That's some weight. We're not meant to be super morbidly obese. No, we're not. Our body's not trying to hold on to 200 extra fucking pounds, I'll tell you that. I'm no biologist, but I know that no one in the span of history was ever closer to looking like the people from WALL-E than the people now of this time. There are so many systematic factors that make discipline extremely difficult. Discipline is with you, yourself, and I. Yeah, there are food deserts, and some people don't have access to the same quality of food people in other areas have, but at the end of the day, it's calories in, calories out. Being super morbidly obese is a privilege because you have to have some sort of money to afford that much fucking food. If you were in poverty, if you can't make ends meet, then you're probably underweight because you can't afford to pay your bills, let alone overindulge in fast food restaurants or hyper-processed food. Because I don't know if you've been through a drive-thru lately, but it's like fucking $15, $20 for a microwaved meal. Yeah, it's disgusting and expensive. So let me know your thoughts and opinion about Fart Lord 7, also known as Chloe. Leave all your thoughts and opinions down below. If you've made it this far, then leave the little hand emoji that goes like this. The lifting one. Or I don't know what that is. Raise the roof, raise the roof. Whatever. I'm getting a little delirious just sitting here talking to myself. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like this video. And if you enjoy me, consider subscribing. I want to hit 20,000 subscribers by the end of the year. And with your support, I can most likely hit that goal. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have a great day. Take care. Peace.